the, the track for today is building a resilient and secure digital ecosystem. My objective for today is to make a case that an ecosystem built around phone numbers is neither resilient nor secure. Now let's get into the problem with phone numbers. Quick raise of hands, how many here have had spam calls? How many here have been extremely annoyed and wanted to shoot the person spam calling you? Yes, that's clearly a pain point there. How many of you wished or questioned, how the hell did this person get my phone number?
Yeah.
Yes, fantastic. So the first problem with phone number is we have no idea who has them. And whoever has them gets unrestricted access to us.
Yeah.
And for all of you people here, important people, that is extremely annoying. The second problem with phone numbers is you have no control over who can share them. If I give my phone number to somebody, not only am I giving them access to myself, I am basically letting them share it with anybody else they want to share it with. I can give my phone number to a business and I can be sure that they're going to sell it to 3,000 other people. And so you have no idea who it's being shared to and when it's being shared with. Ideally, the world we'd like to have is a world where, hey, here's a person who has access to me. I don't want this person to have access to me anymore. I want to retract access. If only phone numbers were reversible, giving it out was reversible. That's one aspect of the problem, which is all about access and access controls. The second problem, which is kind of a silent killer, is the amount of data attached to your primary identifier, which is your phone number. We might not realize this, but if I have any of your phone numbers, in a couple of minutes, I can figure out past addresses. I can figure out if you have a dog at your house based on your e-commerce buying behavior. I can figure out if you have a newborn. And I can figure out the normal stuff, your other identifiers, email addresses, taxes paid, etc. There's a frightening amount of information that's easily accessible attached to your personal identifier, which is your phone number. And we have no control over how this is shared and how this can be exchanged with other parties. Now, coming back to the security of, true, there's a lot of drawbacks, but we still have this nice identifier because it's an easy way for us to access digital services. So then the question is it secure to have such an identifier for ourselves? The answer is absolutely not. If you think your phone number as the secure identifier, a nice phone number and OTP-based authentication system is secure, no way. All somebody needs to do is they're not, if let's say somebody wants to hack your WhatsApp account or hack any account that's attached to your phone number, they don't have to attack the primary services providers. They just have to rely on the security of the telecom infrastructure in the country. So it's just as easy to take over your accounts as it is to take over your phone number. And that's not a hard thing to do at all. So how do we solve this? How do we create a world where we are in control of our information, we are in control of who has access to it and how much access they get to us, and we are in control of how this information is shared? Well, the problem I just described, even though it resonates more with phone numbers, is not just a phone number-based problem. It's a problem that is associated with all contact info. The fundamental nature of information is that once I give it to somebody, now they have it and they can share it with anybody else, they can give it out to anybody else, and they can use it however they wish to use it. So a true solution here would have to be something that uses no contact info at all. That begs the question, how do we connect people without contact info? How do we do what we do today without any contact info? And is this even doable? Well, it's definitely doable, and this is what we're building at Port. This is Port. So the Port protocol is an open and secure protocol to achieve identifierless authenticated connections between two endpoints. Whether those two endpoints are two individuals, an individual and a company, between two companies, we basically build authenticated identifierless endpoints. What this means in a layman's perspective is, let's say you and I were to connect on over the Port protocol. I would know it's you, you would know it's me, but there's no phone number or email or username or any identifier ever exchanged. In brief, the Port protocol is, if you wanted to get into the tech a little bit in a dilute way, a port is basically a piece of single-use cryptographic information required to form this secure and encrypted connection. To form a connection, in the place of sharing a phone number or username, you would be sharing a port. Once a port is shared, the port is used to form this connection. Once a connection is formed, the port is discarded and the information that the port contains becomes irrelevant. So even if an attacker gets a hold of that information at a later point, he can't do anything about that information. He can't attack your connection. He can't even know anything about you to begin with. So we have developed our communication application, also called Port, based on the Port protocol. Now, Port is a communication app like no other. It's an app where, because you have no identifiers, there's no spam whatsoever. When there's no big red target on you, which is your phone number, you'll realize people can't bother you when you don't want to be bothered. So you get no spam. The way you connect is these ports can be attached into QR codes, links, it can even be put into NFC, and you just share it to connect. So if I were to connect with somebody face-to-face, show a QR code. If I were to connect with somebody online, I send them a one-time clickable link. And the level of control here I get is immense. You can even do contact sharing on Port. One of the main ways people connect today is by sharing my contact information with somebody else, or one intermediary sharing one person's contact info with somebody else. This whole system is also achievable in the Port protocol, where one person can connect somebody with somebody else, but you have complete control. You can decide, hey, I'm letting this person connect me with somebody else. I'm not going to let this person connect me with somebody else. Oh, this person's just connected me with 100 people I don't want to talk to. I'm deauthorizing him. With Port, you get complete control from being able to control who can access you, how much access they have to you, and if they can connect you with others. Clearly, it's something that's appealing to important people. Plus, if you do end up connecting with somebody you don't want to talk to anymore, just disconnect and walk away, and they won't be able to bother you again because there's no identifier to bother you. Unlike blocking somebody's phone number where they can pick up a second phone and still call you and bother you, with Port, none of that's possible. So with the Port protocol, the end result is you get a much more secure, safer, and more reliable communication framework. A framework where spam does not exist, a framework where you don't have to worry about your personal information going into the wrong hands or being misused, and you're always in complete control. Now, here's my super port, which is a port that works more than once. If you guys want to connect with me, I have it here. I'll also have it at my desk there. Feel free to connect with me. You need if you don't have the Port app just yet, scanning this will make you download the Port app. So this is Port. And obviously, it's a paradigm-shifting narrative which has its own challenges. Now, we have a bold vision of trying to get rid of phone numbers, but at the same time, we need to make it market viable in terms of there being an economic incentive to actually switch over to, switch out of phone numbers into something better. Right now, with this communication app, we're having no trouble attracting important people to move over, but true results only come when we can convince businesses not to spam people anymore, when we can convince businesses to respect people's boundaries and connect with customers on Port, where they know if they do something wrong, the customer's just going to immediately disconnect with them and walk away. So this is something we are exploring, and what we are realizing is most people, when they end up landing on a website where you need to do an inquiry and the business asks for a phone number or any sort of identifier, most people hesitate to connect with the business because they know the second I give this insurance website my phone number, I'm going to get 3,000 calls afterwards trying to sell me insurance. Yeah. So our hypothesis is when businesses are open to connect with customers through an identifierless mechanism, you end up getting a lot more traction, you end up getting a lot more inquiries, and you end up making a lot more conversions. The people you're trying to attract are people who can pay for your services. The affluent, the people who value their time and consumer attention are people who don't want to just publish their personal information out there. So I suggest you all to try out Port. We're just a couple of weeks out. We already have thousands of users, and here's the time you can give us feedback, and we want to grow with your support. Thank you.